So this interactive, I have zero clue of what to expect. The book is based on... Hold on. Would you just turn the damn snow off already? Man, that was annoying. Okay, so we are gonna try something different here. No more snow, no more border. We are raw dogging it. Hopefully YouTube doesn't take my video down because of inappropriate content, like porn or something. Ha 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 ha. Anywho, we will see how it works out. This is interactive. I had zero clue on what to expect. The book it's based on is only 10 years old, and while the series has its fans, it's also on Netflix, and they are some fickle bitches. So, being animated and only premiering in 2019, with the series in interactive in 2021 under its belt, it probably only lasted as long as it did because a lot of people were switching to animation shows at the time, since that was the only entertainment you could work on at the time. You still had TV, but they had to have a constant reminder of the state of the world at the time. Also, sports were weird. But enough melancholy, what is this interactive? Like I said, absolutely no knowledge on it. I may have seen a cover or two at Barnes & Noble, but that was about it. Well, from the title, it's about kids being the last on Earth, kind of like a Jimmy Neutron situation. You have zombies and aliens, and also magic. Why does that sound familiar? Anyway, as all interactives, you get your tutorial level, or intro for your first choice, as you are being chased around by a monster. You can run away, or get a second choice of two if you want to take down the monster. You get either plungers or an RC car, take your pick. After that, the paths converge into the same path, and we see the plot of this episode. We are throwing a birthday party for June. By the way, how old are you turning? Yeah, you never get an age on June, but I'm assuming 14. But this is where you get to make a decision on the order you get the supplies. The cake, the balloons, and the nacho cheese fountain.
You had me at nacho cheese fountain, which was the last thing you said, which means I wasn't into it until then.
Yeah, the jokes here are not exactly the best of them. I think it's because a lot of these are broadcasted like I am trying to tell jokes, but have to let people know when to laugh. You know, like where the punchline is. As much flack as I give Sandler, some jokes can go on for a while, but they don't ask you to laugh at every single joke. I wouldn't quite call this Netflix slop since it isn't interactive, and there has to be someone there making choices. The animation's alright. The characters are 3D models, but at least they are pulling off a 2D look to the show. It gives you that flat texture of 2D, but it's 3D. Not really a big fan of it. I would honestly say it's a more upgraded version of Johnny Test. So we will start with the easiest choice, which is the fourth choice, to split up gang.
We'd better split up.
It did not go so well, with all the kids dying horrifically. So the real choice is one of the three supplies. This is a bit of a crossroads because there are some supplies you may need later, or people you can't help now. There are also a number of scenes that can only be accessed if you chose the right sequence of choices leading there. I'm not going to go over every single one of them, just the ones that actually have an impact. The only difference is slightly different dialogue and scenes, but it never leads to a secret choice or ending that you may have missed. We will start with the cake one first. You get to the grocery store and see a bunch of zombies blocking the way, and trying to figure out a way to get past them. Or you could go see the new movie that just came out. A few months since this whole thing started, so why wouldn't you go see it beforehand? Anyway, distraction. You could go see the movie, but just for the trailer beforehand. An honestly good joke here is you get to watch it again. Well, choose to watch it again, this time MST3K style. Eventually, you do have to go back to the zombies and choose how to handle them. One will get you inside, and the other kills June. So you get in the most pacifist way you can. And that's not a joke. Literally, no killing zombies. They get in, find the cake, but have to deal with a wretch that is guarding it. At least that's what they call it. And you get three options: sneak up on it, dash and grab, or call Biggins. By the way, I do love Biggins' design. This one has a 2-3 win ratio, so odds are in your favor in succeeding. Or maybe you half succeed, you get out, but you don't get the cake. Next stop, at least in my playthrough, is the nacho cheese fountain, which is at the middle school, so at least this tells me what age group this is for. On the way, you run into the scaly lady who is dismayed because she lost her Shirley, her axe. Can you ask Shirley a question?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
So in order to get in, you'll need to get past this octopus thing, and you have three options: keep talking, trap it, or build giant robot. Trapping it is a little boring, and it's just the standard one. Keep talking will kill you. And the fun one is build giant robot. This one shows that they are at least self-aware, but maybe at a cost. So they do a montage of building the robot and defeating the robot, but wait, how long did that take? Apparently they have been building it for 2 months, and only now realize how much time has passed. Pretty funny until you start poking holes. Like, did you completely lock in? Did you not question the time when you had to sleep, eat, poop? And this is for June's birthday. How do you know all the guests will be where you guys are having the party at? Am I reading too much into this joke? Yes I am. So you get into the school and find the cheese and the fountain. You also find Shirley. And another choice, keep it, return it, or... Yeah, there are quite a few choices that are 2-3 winning and then a non sequitur that usually comes out of nowhere. The death at one is the funnier one. Little reference to Evil Dead, and they turn into the book themselves. Otherwise, if you keep the axe, you get away, but Skilla doesn't get her Shirley back. If you return it, she'll come in and save you, and even give you a ring you could use later. The last one is for the balloons, and you get to mess around in an abandoned party city. You get another 3 choice tree, and decide how you should handle the helium tanks in the basement. Should we sacrifice Dirk, you all go down, or follow Rover? Following Rover will lead back to the previous 2. That'll lead to 2 different choice options while wearing tutus. Two! So Dirk goes down, alone. He will need to be rescued, so you can either go down and rescue him immediately, or armor up first. By the way, this monster fight takes place underwater. I do like that. One choice will just get Dirk killed, and the other is the right one, but no helium tanks. The other option is going in all at once, where your flashlight stops working and you can either get batteries or go in the dark. One will have you in the belly of the beast, and the other you'll get away with the helium tanks. Now with all the supplies, you can go to the party now. But now we have reached the climactic final battle. That beast from the cake mission tries to take you to feed to her kids. But if you have the helium tank, you could use it to blow it up. But then the mauler shows up, and you have to distract it either using your tub of nacho cheese or the ring. And then finally, the zombies. If you got the cake supplies, you'll be fine, otherwise, death. There are also other ways around some of these, like using the ring Skilla gave you to escape the mauler. After that, you go to the stadium where all your monster friends are there and you get to party like it's the apocalypse. Well, that is the name of the episode. So the endings are a little limited. There are a number of death endings and a few good ones, where maybe you didn't end up at the stadium but the treehouse, or somewhere where June becomes a zombie or they all turn into zombies. There are a few scenes I couldn't get because this is a packed one where a number of choices could decide your fate, but I ultimately didn't really like this one. Called Old Man Watching Children's Cartoon or being a snob, but I just don't like the premise of this. Maybe I need to see the show or read the books, but I will list my grievances. First, I don't really like how they butchered the zombie genre. The zombie genre is all about the misery, the isolation, the pain. This book was written in 2015, so that was when the zombie genre started winding down a little bit. And I think The Walking Dead, I think that was when they introduced Negan. It also doesn't help that I started watching both of these shows, and apparently there are 3 more spin-offs of this. So I guess, fuck me. The zombies will go on forever, till you're 90. The problem with this show is that it's a kid's show, and can't commit fully to the zombie genre. You can see it in how they handle the zombies, driving slowly to push them out of the way, using gum to trap them, using cake to distract them, instead of doing this, or this, or this.
Play. First blood. Double kill. Killing. Triple kill. Monster truck.
This honestly reminds me a lot of the second TMNT movie, where parents were complaining about the turtles using weapons, so they had to find workarounds, and they can't ever kill anyone, ever. I think I am only being harsh on it because I just got done with The Last of Us, watching the show, not playing it, on HBO, and are ready for season 2. Second, the voice acting. While they do fine performing, I didn't really like the guys' voices. Maybe they sounded too happy, or they would sound very immature for their age. The only voice I did like was everyone else and June, but even she had some moments. Maybe it was just the dialogue. Like I said at the beginning, the jokes kind of speak like this to indicate to the audience the punchline, and it feels like a laugh track is needed somewhere. Third, and finally, I don't mind them blending genres together. I don't mind them borrowing ideas from other places. At the very least, this wasn't made with AI, and nowadays, it's harder and harder to find content that wasn't made using it. That being said, I do feel like a lot of the designs and characters are based a little much on other inspirations. Like with all these feats completed and tips and tricks on defeating monsters, sounds like a survival guide, right? Yeah, I kinda keep seeing Ned Declassified School Survival Guide here, from the feats and advice to one of the books being called that. But the biggest signs are the characters. I mean, just look at them. You have the happy male lead in charge of the book, the black nerd, the tomboy athletic girl, and the Big Dumb Bully. I guess the only difference is these guys don't have a podcast, because being the last kids on Earth with no parents around and no one to shame them, that podcast would be fire.
Do you remember the first that I
What are
gave
you gonna ask on this
Do you remember-
podcast? First what?
Also, some of the weapons and gadgets they were using, very reminiscent of Codename Kids Next Door, so you get points for that. This premise can work. Maybe they need more time so I could get to know them, but I mean, Dun 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 kind of proves that. Mixing aliens with demons and monsters, but the focus instead of being action-adventure throughout, it's more of a love story with action and adventure in it. The only advantage it has over the last kids on Earth is that they have a higher age rating, so it could get away with a bit more, like this.
No way, is it really gone? What's it look like? Show me!
And this.
Yes, I did, and thank you again for getting it back.
Show me. I want to see you got your pecker back.
Can you imagine if they had the same dialogue in this show?
I'll let you suckle my teats, boy. If you let me gobble your dong.
The only handicap is the rating. Because of it, they can't do as many jokes or jokes that you might get later. I think that's the main difference between these types of shows and the ones us 90s kids grew up with. I am grown up, but it will still watch classic Powerpuff Girls every once in a while. Why? You have violence, some funny jokes, some jokes that I can finally get now that I didn't get back then, and even some adult jokes. The Last Kids on Earth sticks to its childish humor, and that is all who will watch it and appreciate it. No returning back to it years later, just dust in the wind. And if you were going to say, what about the action? Well, I watch anime, so anything you could do, I could do better. My rating for this would be more of a B tier one. I know I'm sounding negative on it in the second half, but that's just because I've seen these tropes work in other places before and can see its potential. The inspirations I see behind the show and that can make it work, but it's ultimately just stuck being a bland show parents put in front of their kids to watch them for some time, with nothing to come back to years later, other than nostalgia. So, The Last Kids on Earth. It's fine for its time, could have been great in another. So I think this is the first interactive without all that damn snow. Well, we are in spring, kind of fitting to get rid of the snow. Curious, do you mind the snow before? Or maybe we should get rid of the snow altogether. Maybe I will release the other interactives without all the damn snow. Anyway, jump on out!